Here's something right here. Just to show you, give you an idea of ghost gear. All these looks like a sunken ship. Anytime I lose trap, now that's over the course of 8 or 9 years.
There's still lots, like just from what I've seen doing the ghost gearing. You know, places where we find a lot of gear, like I'm quite amazed at how much there is there, and places that we've thought were cleaned up, we can go back to and still find more.
The term ghost gear applies to any gear that's lost in the water. Sometimes it's by being drug off by ships accidentally or cut off, or the weather sometimes will take the gear and it ends up on the bottom of the ocean. And when it's down there, it continues to fish. And because it continues to fish, anything that goes into it, such as a lobster, can get in, it can't get out. And once it's in there, it stays and dies and becomes bait for other marine life to come in. It also gets caught, and until that trap is retrieved through ghost gear retrieval, it can continue fishing indefinitely. With the tides and the currents, the gear gets drug off and hauled down, and while it's there, it creates kind of a tumbleweed effect. So any more gear, new gear that comes along that fishermen put out there and pulls it down and just keeps going and creates big snarls. We've had things as large as the front end of a 1940s era truck get caught in this, big old tree stumps. Anything that you can think of is caught in that gear while it's down there.
Oh, it does feel pretty good to come in with a load of traps that otherwise would be left on bottom for forever.
If we had more technology and funding to do it, there's side scan sonar that would help us locate and find missing gear. Every trap we lose, you're talking $250 to $350 a piece, plus rope and buoys.
This past summer, we had 137 trips, which resulted in, I think it was 1,347 traps, almost 300,000 feet of rope, almost 15,000 feet of cable, plus numerous other items. So that's some pretty large items, pretty large amounts of gear in a short span of time. That was 4 retrievers going out doing that work. Unfortunately, DFO has ended the ghost gear project that we were working under. It was called the Fiona Project, and it came about after Hurricane Fiona, so we were able to get some, fairly substantial funding to do this work. So we're just basically touching the surface, and that's very concerning because the area where we're doing all this intensive work is known territory for the North American right whale.